Dawn and Billy Fletcher have revealed their intentions to flee Emmerdale and start a new life elsewhere. Their decision comes despite Dawn's upcoming marriage to wealthy businessman Joe Tate, who has already begun to suspect that something is going on between Dawn and Billy. Joe is aware that the pair shared a brief kiss, but he is struggling to believe that Dawn would betray him with their wedding fast approaching. Only hours after discovering the truth, Joe's suspicions were followed by a brutal attack on Billy, who was rushed to hospital and placed in a coma. Caleb Milligan believed Joe's discovery gave him a possible motive, so he quietly raised his concerns with the officer investigating the attack, resulting in Joe's arrest. However, police were unable to find enough evidence linking Joe to the crime, and he was eventually released. Despite this setback, Caleb has continued working against Joe, and is now determined to help Dawn and Billy escape the country. He has also chosen to hide the fact that Kev Barton was the person responsible for attacking Billy, hoping this will once again make Joe look suspicious. In the latest episode, while Billy remained in hospital, Caleb and his wife Ruby visited him and Dawn to discuss possible destinations for their new life. Dawn suggested Spain after discovering that specialist treatment was available there for their son Evan, who was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia shortly after being born. Caleb promised that he could arrange new passports and identities for Dawn, Billy, and their children, but Billy soon became uneasy about the dangerous plan. Although escaping had originally been his suggestion, he was now worried that they could eventually be caught. Ruby reassured him that she would not encourage the plan if she did not believe it could succeed. Their conversation was suddenly interrupted when Joe arrived at the door, forcing them to stop discussing their escape. Once Joe had finally left, Billy realized that they had reached a crucial moment, and that he could no longer cope with Joe constantly being around them. He told Dawn to get in touch with Ruby and confirm that they were ready to leave. But will Dawn and Billy manage to disappear before Joe discovers the truth? Charity reveals devastating Dr. Todd's secret in Emmerdale. Charity Dingle and Sarah Sugden find themselves caught in a terrifying situation following the death of Dr. Caitlin Todd in Emmerdale. A few days earlier, Sarah arrived during a confrontation between Charity and Dr. Todd. She pushed the cruel doctor, causing Caitlin to fall, hit her head, and die from her injuries. Shortly afterwards, Serena Sugden entered the property and was horrified by what she found. The former police officer quickly stepped in, coming up with a story to protect Charity and Sarah before the authorities arrived. The investigation into Dr. Todd's death is being led by newcomer D.S. Ramsden. The detective questioned Charity first, with Charity claiming that she was responsible for what happened. She explained that she pushed Caitlin, causing her to strike her head. While Charity remained behind bars, she could only worry about Sarah, who was still in the village, desperately attempting to keep the truth hidden. In the latest episode of the ITV soap, Sarah went to the pub to join a family discussion with the Dingles. As they talked about Charity's predicament, Chaz, Kane, and Moira all agreed that it was completely out of character for Charity to contact the emergency services herself. Feeling increasingly distressed, Sarah left the pub and was later seen at the police station. She appeared close to telling officers more about what had happened, but her chance disappeared when Ramsden released Charity. Charity and Sarah later returned to the pub, where their relatives immediately began asking further questions. Charity then stunned everyone by revealing that Dr. Todd had raped her. However, she refused to go into any further detail because she was struggling to cope with everything that had happened. Mackenzie Boyd was the only person who appeared to believe that Charity was hiding something. He admitted that he felt she was keeping part of the story from him, but Charity quickly became defensive and insisted that she hoped her husband would stand by her. Mackenzie is unlikely to simply dismiss his doubts. If he continues questioning Charity, could she eventually break down and confess what truly happened to Dr. Todd? With their marriage already facing difficulties, what impact will this latest secret have on Charity and Mackenzie? 10 huge Emmerdale spoilers for next week, 17 to 21st August. Next week on Emmerdale, the shocking aftermath of Dr. Todd's death continues to cause problems for several villagers. Elsewhere, Billy and Dawn encounter fresh obstacles as they attempt to escape, while Jimmy keeps a troubling secret from Nicola. Here are 10 major moments to expect in the upcoming episodes. 1. Charity and Serena share what they know. Charity gets an opportunity to speak with Serena about the cover-up surrounding Dr. Todd's death. However, their conversation is soon cut short when determined newcomer D.S. Ramsden arrives and continues making her presence known around the village. 2. Sarah finds it difficult to deceive Jacob. Jacob assures Sarah that he will stop questioning her about Dr. Todd's death after seeing how badly the situation is affecting her. His kindness only makes Sarah feel more guilty, as she struggles with the fact that she cannot tell him the truth. Meanwhile, Charity continues with her fabricated account when questioned about Dr. Todd's death. But how much longer can she maintain the lie? 3. Joe throws Dawn and Billy's escape plans into chaos. Joe heads off for his stag party, apparently giving Billy and Dawn the perfect opportunity to leave the village using fake passports. Their plans are suddenly disrupted when Graham arrives and takes them to a field without explaining what is happening. The mystery is soon solved when Joe reveals that he has cancelled his stag party and organised a surprise stendu instead, allowing everyone to celebrate together. Billy and Dawn are left uneasy, wondering whether Joe has deliberately set another trap for them. 4. Billy becomes concerned by Dawn's behaviour. The guests take part in a clay pigeon shooting activity, but Billy and Dawn remain suspicious about Joe's intentions. Caleb also becomes increasingly frustrated after failing to contact the pair and arrange their escape. As the pressure builds, Dawn steps up to take her turn with the gun, but her aim suddenly moves in Joe's direction. Billy is left stunned and begins questioning just how far Dawn might be prepared to go. 5. Ruby makes a move against the Kings. Jimmy and Nicola become increasingly anxious about their future after discovering that the B&B is struggling financially. They put their hopes in securing a new haulage contract that could help rescue the business. But Ruby secretly has another plan. She arranges for Kev to rob Jimmy's van and take the shipment, hoping the setback will push the Kings into selling their business. Her scheme succeeds in causing the damage she wanted, although Kev is furious when he discovers that the stolen cargo consists only of nappies. 6. Kev attempts to destroy the evidence. Ruby tries to control Kev by reminding him that she has CCTV footage, proving that he was responsible for attacking Billy. Determined to protect himself, Kev takes matters into his own hands and destroys Caleb's laptop in an attempt to wipe out any evidence against him. 7. Kev admits the truth to Billy. During the stendu, a drunk Kev approaches Billy and apologizes for the attack that left him in hospital. Billy is horrified when he discovers that Kev was the person who assaulted him. He is also stunned to realize that Caleb and Ruby have been manipulating him throughout the situation. Will Billy finally tell Dawn everything he has discovered? 8. Caleb regains the upper hand. Caleb tells Billy that he will not provide the fake passports until the morning of Dawn and Joe's wedding. His intention is to get revenge on Joe by waiting until the last possible moment before helping Billy and Dawn escape. Caleb also gains more control when Jimmy agrees to sell his haulage business to him and Ruby, completely unaware that he has been manipulated. 9. Nicola starts making future plans. Lewis suggests that Jimmy and Nicola should renew their wedding vows, and Nicola is delighted when Jimmy agrees to the idea. She is also excited about Elliot preparing to begin university, making it seem as though life is finally moving in a positive direction for the King family. However, Jimmy is hiding a serious problem after receiving a letter concerning unpaid mortgage arrears. Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.